This is Michael Popok, Legal AF After Dark. Remember that case down in Florida presided over by Aileen Cannon, Mar-a-Lago? Oh, it only has to deal with whether Trump violated the Espionage Act, committed conspiracies related to the obstruction of justice, the attempt to destroy evidence. Remember that case? That case is scheduled to go to trial in May, but will it? It all depends on some preliminary decisions and events that happen in that case, presided over by Aileen Cannon. And we're trying to see if she's going to show her true colors here. She's going to keep this case on track for May, or is she going to find ways to drag her feet and allow it to be delayed? All comes down to how she's going to handle confidential information, because that's at the heart of the espionage claims here. We break it all down with my resident expert on the MeidasTouch network for all things Classified Information Procedures Act, Ben Meiselas, along with me, his co-anchor on a podcast we like to call Legal AF. Take a listen to our most recent episode.
One thing that's not getting a lot of attention, though, and we like to get in the weeds here on Legal AF, especially when it comes to Judge Aileen Cannon, is the first issue that Jack Smith could potentially appeal. And I think Jack Smith realizes that Judge Cannon is going to have to make some substantive orders soon that are likely going to get appealed because she always makes the wrong decision. The first one that she's confronted with, that she actually has to make an order, in theory, fairly soon, at least before March 1, is this issue on SEPA Section 4, which is a ex parte in-camera hearing that the government has with judges or with the judge presiding over the case in a case that involves classified information. And by ex parte in camera, what I mean by that is the criminal defendant doesn't get to be at this hearing because the judge looks at certain documents that the government wants to withhold in discovery about whether these documents are so sensitive in terms of national security documents and are not relevant or helpful enough if you balance them out versus the national security harm that could be caused, that these documents can be withheld. Before Judge Aileen Cannon, Donald Trump and his co-defendants, Walty Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira, have requested that their lawyers be present at these hearings and have attorneys' eyes review at these hearings, which is just never, it's something that doesn't happen. That's not the way SEPA Section 4 works. This isn't a controversial issue, but we'll see if Judge Aileen Cannon makes the wrong ruling there and allows Trump's lawyers to be at this thing. That'll be the first interlocutory appeal that special counsel Jack Smith will take to the 11th Circuit, that if Cannon rules incorrectly, she will get reversed by the 11th Circuit. And then Donald Trump's going to be filing a bunch of dispositive motions with Judge Cannon, the same way Trump's been filing motions to dismiss with Judge Tanya Chutkan in the D.C. case, and Judge Chutkan's denied those motions to dismiss. Do you think Judge Cannon's going to grant Donald Trump's motions to dismiss? Do you believe if Judge Cannon was presented with the same issues that Judge Chutkan was presented to, you think Judge Cannon would come out the same way? Or do you think Judge Cannon would incorrectly rule, for example, I mean, there is no absolute presidential immunity in the Mar-a-Lago document case because it involves Trump taking these records outside, but who knows? Maybe Trump will try to come up with some weird way to assert that, but Trump will try to come up with other things and say that he had the authority to do it. He declassified it with his mind, all of those things. You think Judge Cannon's going to rule the right way on those things? No, Judge Cannon's going to make the wrong rulings. And then special counsel, and by the way, it'll be a horrible headline, right, Popok? Judge Cannon dismisses the claim or dismisses the charge. That's happening, like in the future. Like I want to, just like we prepared our legal AFers, like Judge Cannon will probably grant one or some of Donald Trump's motion to dismiss, but double jeopardy doesn't attach to that. It's not before a jury. So then Jack Smith will be able to go take an appeal with the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and that will create an opening right there with Judge Chutkan's trial. So a lot still happening. Like every day there's going to be some like bombshell news from now until the foreseeable next 18 months. So buckle up.
Well, just one comment, just to give some people, I'm reading the chats, give some people some hope here. The good thing about where we are in late 2023 and early 2024, where we weren't when you, Ben, and I talked, and Karen talked about Aileen Cannon when she was first assigned, way back when she was busy interfering illegally and improperly with the criminal investigation process led by the Department of Justice before the indictment even came out. That's how long ago we've been talking about this. There's a silver lining here, because behind both you, Ben, and me now, there is an imaginary bookcase that is filled with precedent of cases coming out of places like the District of Columbia Court of Appeals and the 11th Circuit that we didn't have before when Aileen Cannon was first assigned, that have names on cases usually ending with Trump and Meadows and other people. There's a body of law that's now been developing that sometimes when you and I do our hot takes, because we're so in the moment, we're so in real time, that we can't take the plane up 5,000 or 10,000 feet and look down at the legal landscape and think about the precedent that's being established day by day, brick by brick in these various courts, primarily good ones that we like and that we continue to talk about and apply. It is boxing in Aileen Cannon. She's going to have to cite to cases that have already been decided by many panels of her bosses at the 11th Circuit, including Chief Judge Pryor, who we're going to talk about again, who already, and Judge Rosenbaum, who we've talked about in the past, both of which slapped back Aileen Cannon in past rulings. D.C. Court of Appeals judges like Judge Pan and Judge Childs and others there, and then ultimately the U.S. Supreme Court. So she's not going to have the free range to do whatever she wants when she ultimately writes that terrible decision that you and I both know is coming, because she's going to have to do it and distinguish precedent that is hopefully hemming her in and boxing her in. And not to beat this dead horse any further than it needs to be, but it's important because it's not a Trump stock market. It's not like he's up, he's down, he won, he lost. There was a paper order, there was a docket entry. What we try to do on this show is try to step back and talk about what is happening to the justice system, not just today, but into the future because of the precedent that's being established, just as there is an entire body of law that came out of the failed Nixon presidency. Lots of cases that we talk about now about Trump have Nixon's name in it for a reason, coming out of Watergate and that corrupt presidency. A few cases that are interesting that came out of the Clinton issues that related to his presidency and his impeachment, but an entire new body of law that would fill the imaginary bookshelf from top to bottom will have everybody that worked for or was in the orbit of Donald Trump's name on it. And that has an impact on what trial judges and ultimately other courts of appeal can do going forward. They don't have an empty slate or a clean slate like they did 2 years ago to make their rulings and do mischief. Well, welcome back. If you like lawyers talking about, things they know what they're talking about at the intersection of law, politics, and justice, you've reached the right podcast on the MeidasTouch Network. It's called Legal AF. It's exactly what you think. Wednesdays, me, Karen Freeman-Agnifilo. Saturdays, me, Ben Meiselas. And then on Hot Takes, the leaders of Legal AF do about every day, every hour, only on the MeidasTouch Network. Help them get to 2 million free subscribers. They're oh so close. If you know what I'm talking about, welcome back. We appreciate you being here for our journey on Legal AF. If you have no idea who I am and what I'm talking about, I'm Michael Popok. That was Legal AF, and I look forward to seeing you on our next show. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.